Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, you will learn how to control the brightness of an LED using a potentiometer. Now, this is a beginner level project that will help you understand how to work with digital and analog pins, as well as how to connect components to your Arduino board and test them out. The first part of the project will involve hardware connections with the actual components and not in a simulated environment like this. And the second part will involve writing and uploading code to your Arduino board. Now here's a demo of what we'll be building. The whole idea is to tune the knob of the potentiometer and then control the brightness of the LED. So now tuning it to the right increases the brightness, while if we turn it all the way to the left, it reduces the brightness. So let's get started. The potentiometer is made up of three terminals, the two outer terminals and the middle terminal. The two outer terminals can be connected to either 5 volts or ground. This means that if you connect the left terminal to 5 volts, you have to connect the right terminal to ground. And if you connect the left terminal to ground, you have to connect the right terminal to 5 volts. The middle terminal is the output terminal, and this will be connected to an analog pin. So let's see how to make these connections using the Uno board. Right now I have 5 volts from the Uno board connected to the positive rail of the breadboard, and ground from the Uno board connected to the ground rail of the Uno board. I also have an LED connected to pin 6. Now the shorter leg of the LED is connected to the ground, and the longer leg is connected to a resistor, which is then connected to pin 6. Now if you look at the Uno board, you'll see that some of these pins have tilde signs on them. So if you're going to connect to another pin, make sure you use a pin that has the tilde sign, because this lets us write analog signals to digital pins. So I'm going to connect jumper wires to the potentiometer. Now you can connect this directly to the breadboard by just sticking it in. But to make this more visible for you to see the connections, I'm just going to use male to female jumper wires. So now this is what the connection looks like. I'm going to connect the red jumper wire to 5 volts. I'm going to connect the green one to an analog pin, and then the black one to ground. So let's do that. So at the moment I have the red jumper wire, which is the outer terminal on the right, connected to the positive rail of the breadboard, and I have the black one, which is on the other side of the outer terminal, connected to the ground rail, and I have the middle terminal, which is connected to the green jumper wire, connected to A0 on the Arduino board. Now let's write the code and see how we can test out all these components. So we can start by creating variables for the physical connections we've made. I'm going to create a port pin variable for the potentiometer, and I'm going to set this to A0. If you recall from our connections, we connected the output pin of the potentiometer to pin A0. And then I'm going to create a port value variable. It's going to be used to denote the current value of the potentiometer as we tune the knob. We also create a brightness variable, which is going to be used to control the brightness of the LED. I'm going to set this to 0 as well. And lastly, the LED pin, which was connected to pin 6 on the Uno board. Next, we can initialize the serial monitor using the serial.begin function. I'm going to use a baud rate of 9600. And then set the pin mode for the LED. So LED pin set to output. Now you can also set the pin mode for your potentiometer. That is port pin set to input. Now if you do this, your code is still going to work, but this is also optional, so I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, now that we've done this, we can start testing out these components. So I'm going to use the analog read function to get the value of the potentiometer as we tune it. So recall that we created a port value variable here, which is going to be used to show the current values of the potentiometer. So what I'll do here is to say port value is equal to analog read, and then pass in the port pin as a parameter to this. So what this line of code does is it reads the value of the port pin and then assigns whatever value it reads to the port value. So I'm going to do serial dot print ln, and then print port value. So let's see what happens when we tune the potentiometer. So at this point, you can connect your Arduino board to your PC and verify that you've chosen both the board and the ports. After that, you can click on the upload button to upload your code to the board. Okay, so this is done uploading. You can then open the serial monitor so that we can see these values that we're printing out here. I'm going to click on this to open the serial monitor. At this point, my own potentiometer is currently set to the lowest, which is all the way to the left. Now, if I start tuning from left to right, these values should increase. And the maximum value here should be 1023. So if I tune back to the left, the values reduce. So right now, the potentiometer works. So we'll move on to the next step. Now remember that the goal of this tutorial is to control the brightness of an LED using the potentiometer. So we're going to do that using the brightness variable. At this point, we've been able to get the value of the potentiometer using the analog read function. So I'm going to get rid of this line. Then I'm going to write out the code and explain how it works. So brightness is equal to 255.0 divided by 1023.0 multiplied by the port value. And then we can use the analog write function to write analog signals to the LED pin. So analog writes, the first parameter is going to be the pin you're writing to, which in our case is the LED pin, followed by the duty cycle, which is going to be the brightness. So let me explain what actually happens here. The first thing you should know is that the analog write function only accepts values within the range of 0 to 255. At least this is for the Uno board. So in order for us to get that range of 0 to 255, we have to make these calculations. So this is just 255 divided by 1023 multiplied by the port value, which we got here already. If you go on to print this to your serial monitor, when you tune the potentiometer, you're going to get values from 0 to 255 instead of from 0 to 1023. And then we just assign that to the analog write function. So at this point, you can go and upload your code to your Arduino board by clicking on the upload icon. And once that's done uploading, you can start testing out if the components actually work, if you can increase the brightness or reduce the brightness of the LED. So right now, I'm just going to do that so that you can see. If I tune the brightness all the way to the right, you can see the brightness of the LED increasing. And if I tune it all the way to the left, it decreases. So this works. I hope this video has been helpful for you. You can find the code and the circuit diagram in the description below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.